Ecuador's National Assembly approved the creation of a truth commission to investigate events that took place during the national strike. The Argentina government rejected the UK's decision to declare the occupied territory of the Malvinas as protected areas. South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa delivers an eulogy at the memorial service for the 21 teens who died at the township tavern last month. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Ana Marrero from the teleSUR headquarters in Caracas, Venezuela. We begin with the news. Stay with us. Ecuador's National Assembly approved the creation of a truth commission to investigate events that took place during the national strike and to provide reparations for the victims. With a unanimous vote of the 110 Assembly members, the Parliament recommended to Ombudsman's Office that the Truth Commission be constituted with the participation of independent experts representing social organizations as well as national and international human rights organizations. The entity points out that the purpose of the Commission will be to establish trust, justice, and reparation for the possible victims who show evidence of human rights violation due to the repressions by the government of Guillermo Lasso during the mobilization of indigenous organizations. In Venezuela, the Attorney General's office confirmed that the assassination and disappearance of revolutionary leader Carlos Land was ordered by his wife, Mary Kumare. The chief public prosecutor, Tarek Willis-Saab, confirmed that the apprehension of 13 people charged with the kidnapping and murder of the Venezuelan teacher. During the press conference, the prosecutors points out that Glenn Castellano admitted having participated in a murder by order of the revolutionary leader's wife.
Glenn Castellanos admits in his confession that he himself participated in the murder of Carlos Lanz by direct order of Maggie Kumare. Let's not forget to identify the figure.
In addition, the prosecutors confirmed that at least 13 people have been apprehended for their involvement in the kidnapping and murder of Professor Carlos Land.
In this sense, I could summarize that at this moment we have, let's put it this way, the detention of 13 people. Some of them as suspects and others as defendants. 13 people. For their involvement in the kidnapping and subsequent murder of Professor Carlos Lanz.
Former Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva continues to lead in voting intentions for the October presidential elections. Pedera's polls released on Wednesday morning shows stability in the electoral scenario, with former President Lula da Silva leading the voting intentions with 44% of support. On the other hand, the polls results indicates that current President Jair Bolsonaro has 36% of support among those surveys. Likewise, the study also reveals that the former president has a big advantage over Bolsonaro among women, young people, and a low-income population. In Chile, the campaign for the constitutional referendum begins after the delivery of project for a new constitution. Chilean citizens will have the opportunity next September 4th to choose whether to approve or reject a new Magna Carta in the country. According to the Chilean Electoral Service, several political parties, civil organizations, and parliamentarians will have 3 days to register for the constitutional referendum campaign. According to the electoral body, for the first time in the nation's history, inmates will be allowed to vote. The campaign begins after a year of work by the Constitutional Convention, which delivered the proposal for a new constitution to the former National Congress on Monday. Heads of governments of the Caribbean my pardon. And in Mexico, with the creation of 60,000 jobs in June, the numbers reaches 893,000 in the last 12 months. In the meantime, the average contribution wage granted at an annual rate of 11.1%, implying the highest variation in the last 20 years, according to the Mexican Social Security Institute. As reported last Tuesday, this annual job creation in June is the highest for comparable periods since records have been kept. As for the permanent positions, the reports explain that it reached 973,999 in the same period, making it the latest annual increase in history for the month of June. The economic sector, though, with the highest employment growth are transport and communications, with 12.6%, constructions 5.5%, and commerce 5.3%. Head of governments of the Caribbean communities agreed on the context of a bilateral relationship with the United States to urge for the removal of sanctions on Venezuela. The aim is to allow countries in the region to benefit from the Petro-Caribbean initiative and for process of the exploration of cross-border natural gas filed between Trinidad and Tobago and Venezuela. In the framework of the 43rd regular meeting of the Conference of Head of Governments of the Caribbean Community, member states also discussed the process of the agricultural system agenda, climate finance, and security issues. The Caribbean heads of state agreed to take decisions on the elimination of non-tariff barriers on agricultural products in order to ensure food security in the region. The meeting was held from July the 3rd to the 5th this week. We'll take a short break now. Join us again after this. Welcome back. The Argentina government has rejected the decision of United Kingdom authorities, which have declared the occupied territory of the Maldives as protected areas. Buenos Aires warned that this action is unilateral, limited, and incompatible with the provisions of the United Nations General Assembly. Boris Johnson's administration has ignored previous talks with the Argentinian Foreign Minister and even these between the British Minister and President Alberto Fernandez at G7 summit when London announced the move to extend the conviction of the biological diversity of the Maldives, and the Argentina government rejected. The United Kingdom cannot adopt decisions that unilaterally modify the situation of the territory as reaffirmed by the United Nations. Given the depth of the Downing Street crisis, even the United States ambassador to Argentina, Mar Stanley, questioned Johnson's intentions to continue negotiating on the matter.
I am learning more about the issue every day. I'm studying a lot, and if I had to think of a way to solve this, but I can't right now, I can't think of anything. The only thing I would like to say is that I would like to see a negotiation between the two parties. Boris Johnson the other day seemed to have no interest in continuing the negotiations when he spoke with President Fernandez, but this is still a very complicated matter.
A delegation of the Commission on Colombia presented its final report to the Spanish Foreign Minister and hopes that public events will be held to disseminate the document. The text, which was prepared in Colombia since 2019, was received by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, European Union and Cooperation, José Manuel Alvarez. The Foreign Minister recalled that the peace accords in Colombia were carried out with the help of the Iberian country. For their part, the members of the Commission hope that meetings will be held with citizens living in Spain, mainly in Madrid, Bilbao, and Barcelona, in order to publicize the Commission's findings. In the U.S., the state of New Jersey on Tuesday approved through new law restricting the possession of firearms despite a Supreme Court ruling the right to carry weapons in public last month. After New Jersey State Governor Phil Murphy signed the new regulations, the state joins the New York City and others like Massachusetts and California, which currently have severe restrictions in place. The measures provide for gun permits, training registration of every gun purchased in other states, and a ban of 50 caliber weapons. The ruling now replaces the New York state law, which requires gun licenses to show the goods causes carry a gun. And a surge in death in COVID-19 infections in some Latin American and Caribbean countries, Brazil is on its way to take the lead position again as one of the most affected countries in Latin America. In the last 24 hours, Brazil has registered 369 new COVID-19 related deaths, the highest since last March, 485 figures. The South American nation, one of the hardest hit by the pandemic, registered to date more than 600,000 deaths and more than 32.5 million infections after recording 74,591 positive cases this Tuesday. In spite of these numbers, the vaccination plan is considered by experts as effective, according to further complications in those infected. However, experts recognize the worsening of the situation and reiterate the need to return to the measures that help to lessen the pandemic's effect in what is still today the countries with the second highest death toll in the region.
We return to a sad world leadership. But beyond that, it is necessary to resume the mandatory use of masks in closed environments, such as school and leisure establishments, such as theaters, cinemas, and others.
Russia has created 2 humanitarian corridors in the Black Sea and the Sea of Azov, which, according to the Defense Ministry, are completely safe for navigation. The Black Sea corridor operates from 8 a.m. local times at 7 p.m. and it's 139 miles long and 3 miles wide, allowing navigation out of the ports of Kherson, Nikolaev, Kharkov, and Yuzhny in the direction of the territorial sea of Ukraine. On the Azov Sea corridor, General Michael Misenstev, head of the National Center of Defense Management, the corridor operates 24 hours a day and is 115 miles long and 2 miles wide for navigations from the port of Mariupol through the Black Sea. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov had already confirmed that these corridors can be used by any cargo ship waiting to leave one of these ports, and all this is required is that Ukraine clears the Abdian strip of Sea of Mine. China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi continues his tour of several Southeast Asian countries and began an intensive day of work together with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. The leader of the foreign ministry arrived in the Philippines on Wednesday and had a fruitful exchange with his counterpart Enrique Manalo on bilateral issues. In this sense, Wang Yi became the first foreign minister to be received by the new government of Ferdinand Marcos Jr. Experts said that the visit of the Beijing spokesman come at a crucial moment when the United States is seeking to involve the Philippines in its confrontational strategies over the Taiwan issue. On the other hand, the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov arrived in Vietnam and will meet with China to strengthen defense and trade relations. I will take a short break now. Join us again after this. Welcome back. On Wednesday, South Africa bid farewell to 21 people, mostly teams who died in unclear circumstances at a tavern last month in an incident that shocked the nation. Empty coffins were laid out for a ceremony with families expected to bury their children later this week. The youngsters died in a survivors have described as a battle to escape a young package venue. The fatalities were no visible sign of injury, and officials have ruled out the stampede as the cause of the death. A police investigation is still ongoing. The president of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, delivered out the eulogy at the memorial and announced that bars selling alcohol to those underage will be shut down permanently moving forward. Drinking in South Africa is permitted from over the 18s, but in townships, taverns, safety regulations, and drinking age law are not always enforced.
To say yes, from national government, there is blame on us. Provincial government, local government, the police, the taverners, the tavern owners, and all that. There is blame. And blame must be laid at the feet of those who are making money off the dreams and the lives of young people of South Africa by breaking the law and selling alcohol to underage children.
Suspect Boko Haram militants using guns and explosives placed their way into prison near Nigeria's capital, freeing hundreds of inmates in operation to release jail comrades. Tuesday night's attack on the outskirts of Abuja come hours after an ambush on a presidential security convoy in the Northwest in a fresh illumination of the struggle Nigeria faces the overcome security crisis. Outside Yale, the burnout breaking off a bus and car making the scene of the attack, and Yellow police they was stretched across a destroyed port of operation perimeter. Senior inter-minister officials said authorities have reiterated about 300 out and about 600 inmates that escaped. Boko Haram is one of the armed groups involved in Nigeria's current 13-year conflict in the country's northeast. Boris Johnson on Wednesday refuses to quit as British Prime Minister despite a letter of resignations from his scandal at government. The Prime Minister's grip on power appears to be split following 10 short minutes on Tuesday night, where Rishi Sunak resigned as Finance Minister and Sajid Javid quit as Health Secretary. Both say they could no longer tolerate a culture of scandal that has stalked the Prime Minister for months. Johnson has suffered an exodus of ministers in just 24 hours, mounting to a total of 38 so far. Among the latest present, the resignation of Employment Minister Mims Davis, Minister for Safeguarding Rachel McCleard, and Housing PPS Duncan Baker. At the moment, Boris rules out snap elections as a resignation month.
I continued to give the benefit of the doubt. And now this week again, we have reason to question the truth and integrity of what we've all been told. And at some point, we have to conclude that enough is enough. I believe that point is now. But I do fear that the reset button can only work so many times. There's only so many times you can turn that machine on and off before you realize that something is fundamentally wrong.
Director General of the World Health Organization, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, said the organization is concerned by the escalated spread of monkeypox, with more than 6,000 cases now confirmed in 88 countries.
Testing remains a challenge, and it's highly probable that there are a significant number of cases not being picked up. Europe is the current epicenter of the outbreak, recording more than 80% of cases globally. In Africa, cases are appearing in countries not previously affected, and record numbers are being recorded in places which have previous experience with monkeypox.
Pakistani officials said on Wednesday 3 days of monsoon rains left at least 17 people dead and damaged dozens of homes across southwest Pakistan. The Provincial Disaster Management Agency said streets and homes were flooded in various parts of Quetta, the capital of Balochistan province. Shireen Rahman, Minister of Climate Change, told a news conference in Islamabad that 77 people were killed in rain-related incidents in June. Every year, the many cities in Pakistan struggle to cope with the annual monsoon that led drowning criticisms about poor government planning. The season runs from July through September. teleSUR English continues to grow. Its signal reaches Europe. You can order it from your cable dealer or turn it yourself. These parameters that you see on screens are in place since July the 1st and quite soon for the changes will be implemented for the signal in the Middle East and Africa. Now, more than ever, the world connects to us and our stories are being heard all around the globe. This news multi-platform will continue providing trustful content to oppose the Yemeni media's narrative and our faithfulness to our audience. And with that story, we have come to the end of this news brief, but you can find this and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. You can also join us on our socials. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram as well. For teleSUR English, I'm from the South, I'm Ana Marrero, and thank you for watching.